Welcome back to another episode of the Extreme Lifestyle Living Podcast. I'm your Thursday host, Emma. On today's podcast, I'm going to be talking about doing things that you don't want to do and just how to sort of do that. Because we all go through times, I go through times, I'm literally in one of those times right now where you're doing something that you just don't feel like doing, where you'd rather be doing something else or just not doing anything at all. So, I'm going to dive in a little bit as to some of those things that I feel day to day, week to week, or just in general sometimes, and how I kind of handle them, but also so you know that you're not alone, because a lot of times on social media it may look like my life is really great or it's a highlight reel or all these sorts of things, or I don't have any struggles with motivation, or there aren't times when I don't want to go to the gym or don't want to work out or whatever it may be. But maybe you can just get a little bit of insight that I do also have those struggles as well, just like you. Now, when thinking about doing things that we don't want to do, I feel like for most of us, there's some things that we do every single day that we don't necessarily want to be doing. Like, whether that's getting up early to go to your job, or getting up early to go to the gym, or just getting up early in general, getting up when that first alarm goes off. Like, that's, chances are, maybe not what you want to do first thing in the morning, but you obviously have to do it to go through your day, go to your job, you have responsibilities and all those sorts of things. But I guess sort of figuring out during those times when you don't want to do things, like let's take the gym for example. When thinking about not wanting to do things, a lot of times the first thing that comes to mind, or one of the most relatable things that comes to mind, is not wanting to go to the gym, not wanting to work out, and just not having that motivation. And I, of course, feel that too from time to time. Like, I don't always feel excited to work out. I don't always feel excited to go to the gym. I don't always wake up and I'm like, oh yeah, like today's leg day. I get to do these exercises and I can't wait. And I'm super pumped up about it. Some days I wake up and I'm just kind of like, ugh, like I have to do hip thrusts today. Like, that was literally me today. I woke up and I was like, oh, yay, I get to train legs. And then I realized it was my second leg day of the week, which means that's my hip thrust day. Hip thrust day and heavy split squats. And that's tough. Like, that's a hard day. That's something I don't want to do, especially the hip thrusts. And I guess if you don't know, you don't know. But if you know, you know. Setting up for hip thrusts is a pain in the ass. Like, it's just kind of this whole big thing. It's a big movement and everything. So sometimes it can be daunting, and especially if it's one of the first things in your workout. But I obviously do it because that's what's programmed in my workout. I know it works, and I know that it's going to get me that much closer to my goals. It's going to get me that much closer to the results that I want. It's going to make me feel my best. So I make that decision to do that thing that I don't want to do, even though every part of me doesn't want to do that. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of people need to understand is it's not always something that you're going to want to do when it comes to working out or moving your body. And that's okay. Like, that's perfectly normal. Just like I said, not every day I want to be doing those things, but I do know that most days I need to be doing those things, not just for my physical health, but also for my mental health. And chances are you're the same way. Unless you're some crazy anomaly, you would be the same way too. So, making those decisions to do those things that make you feel that much better is really what's going to long term lead to more success, and just lead to you having less of those times and less of those feelings of not wanting to do things. I'll be honest, it's pretty rare for me to not want to go to the gym or not want to work out, or right now it's more so like not really wanting to do a specific exercise, which I'm okay with that because I'm not going to love every exercise, but like I said, I'm still obviously going to be doing it. And I think that also just is because of my consistency in my routines and in my habits when it comes to my workouts and when it comes to going to the gym. Like, I've been in this routine for so long, I've been following my program for so long, and I've just been in this habit of doing it for so long and enjoying it, that that motivation is there, that excitement to go and get my workouts in is there because I'm feeling good, like, and I'm genuinely enjoying it. So once you get into the flow of things, and once you get past those first few workouts or those first couple weeks or that first month, or you get past that first kind of like bump in the road or that first kind of hiccup that you have along your journey, and it's really about like that consistency that I've been showing in my habits and my routines and in my schedules with my workouts. That's why I'm so excited to go to the gym. That's why I'm so motivated to go to the gym, because it feels good. Like everything feels good. I'm excited to do it because it feels good. So I have less and less of those days of me not wanting to do it. And it's about like pushing past those times, because especially at the beginning, you have a lot of those feelings. It's tough to go to the gym. It's tough to motivate yourself to go do those things and get out of your comfort zone and do something that's maybe new to you or something that's tough and challenging. But pushing past those times of not wanting to do it and actually stepping outside of your comfort zone and doing those things that are going to make you feel good and are going to push you that much further and closer to your goal, that's really what's going to make that big difference for you, and also is going to help lessen some of those feelings of not wanting to do things. Like I said, it's not going to take it away completely, but trust me, if you get into a good routine and you're really enjoying yourself and you're seeing results, you're feeling results, and you're being motivated, those feelings are going to be less and less, especially when it comes to going to the gym. I don't always want to cook my meals. I don't always want to eat super healthy. A lot of times I want to just lay on the couch and eat a pizza that I threw in the oven, or lay on the couch and eat takeout, something like that. And I do that sometimes, like, and that's okay. Like, I'm not perfect with my nutrition. It's definitely something that's been a huge priority for me recently, which again is definitely why I've been seeing and feeling the results that I've been seeing and feeling. But I do still allow myself to have those treats, and I do still allow myself to give in sometimes to those feelings of not wanting to do things, and but knowing that when I'm giving into those, like really being intentional and really thinking about that. Is this an emotional decision that I'm making? Like, am I just wanting to order takeout because I've had a busy day, or maybe I just didn't get enough fuel into my body in the way of food during the day. So I'm just kind of more likely to be craving food or want something, and because I'm kind of underfed, and realizing if it's something like that versus if I'm actually just tired, I'm run down a little bit, my body just needs to kind of like relax and just kind of rejuvenate and just have a night to kind of like a self-care night. And it's important to allow yourself to have nights like that, but also find balance in pushing through those feelings of not wanting to cook your meals, or not wanting to go to the gym, or not wanting to follow your habits, or even in terms of like stuff around the house. Like, obviously, every night I don't want to be doing the dishes and cleaning up in the kitchen and putting all the clothes away and like all those sorts of stuff that comes with having a place, being an adult and being in a relationship. Like all those things, like they fall on Trey and I, like to do the dishes at the end of the night, or tidy up the kitchen, or whatever it is, get the clothes put away, situated, do the laundry, those types of things. Like, obviously there's days that I don't want to do that stuff too, that Trey doesn't want to do that stuff too. And there's certain things that you can kind of let slip a little bit, but then there's certain things that you do just have to do anyway. And I think a big thing is figuring out what those sort of things are that are at that top priority list, that it's like, okay, like these are my things that I'm not really going to let slip. Like, just because I don't feel like going to the gym one day doesn't mean I'm actually not going to go to the gym one day and give in to those feelings. And something that's really helped me with that is back when I used to work at my job, like this is something that a lot of people I talk to or clients that I work with struggle with, is not having enough energy at the end of the day. At the end of their work day, they're just exhausted. You've had a busy day at work. It's mentally draining. You've probably been sitting at a desk all day. It's just not really ideal. So then it's tough to get your mindset around going and working out at the gym. Sometimes it's busy and all that type of stuff. So what really worked for me and helped me, and is kind of is my non-negotiable and started to be my non-negotiable, and is something a lot of my clients have adapted to that really works for them, is because they know sometimes that after a long day, the last thing they're going to want to do is go to the gym and work out. And although it is that time for them, in that moment when you're feeling exhausted, when you've had a really tough day, you feel stressed, you just feel so drained mentally and physically, like it's really tough sometimes to motivate yourself to actually go and do that thing. So if you find that you're kind of in that sort of habit or stuck in that routine a little bit, like what worked for me and what works for a lot of my clients is getting that workout done in the morning, because you're fresh, like you have all that energy. That's the first thing that you're doing for yourself. That's really intentional, and starting the day with some intentional time for you. And it doesn't have to be a super long workout, like 45 minutes to an hour, something like that, but you're way more likely to get that done in the morning and then knowing that you can come home after work and then you don't really need to stress about anything. Like you can kind of have that relaxing evening that you so desperately want on those stressful days. Like I remember thinking back, like I would just be like, oh my God, like I just want to go home and lay on the couch and eat and watch TV and whatever. Like I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to work out, like all that sort of stuff. And imagine if you had those feelings, but you had already worked out in the morning and then you got to go home and do those things. You got to go home and rest and have a good dinner and watch TV and then go to bed early, all those sorts of things. Like you would feel that much better. But in reality, like I said, I don't always want to do things. There's things every day I don't want to do. Even right now, recording this podcast, like I had a long day. I've had a long week already, and it's only Wednesday. I typically record this podcast earlier. However, I just had a really busy couple days where we've been like on the go all day and haven't really been getting home until the evening. And honestly, that's kind of tough for me. Like, I like to be at home a lot of the time or just have that good balance. Like, when I'm out and on the go so much, I find it can be draining at times. And I'm really feeling that today. Like, tomorrow's my rest day from the gym, too. Like, I just feel like I'm like, oh, I feel sluggish today and coming off my period, like all that sort of stuff. And of course, I had feelings. I was like, oh, like maybe I won't put a podcast out tomorrow. Like, maybe I can just push it and record one tomorrow and then I can put it out Friday and blah, 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 blah. But no, I made a commitment that I'm going to be putting these podcasts out every Thursday. So this is my commitment to you, my commitment to myself, and I'm here doing it the same way that I commit to getting my workouts in, the same way that I commit to my nutrition, the same way that I commit to my other habits and my other routines. So really take a second and think about like, what are those top priorities for you? Like, is it moving your body? Is it eating nutritious foods? Is it just having a good routine for yourself? Like whether that's a morning routine, an evening routine, or just cooking meals for yourself or not eating takeout as much. Like think of what those priorities are that you kind of have in that order and pick one to kind of start pushing past those feelings of not wanting to do it quite as much. Like pick one thing to focus on that it's like, okay, maybe when I get that first feeling of, oh, I don't want to go to the gym tonight, like push past that feeling and go do that workout. Go see how much better you feel afterwards. Or maybe that next time you feel like, oh, I don't want to eat that food that I have in the fridge to cook or prepare, whatever it may be. I just want to order takeout or get Uber Eats or whatever. Push past those feelings and have that good meal. Make that food for yourself. Take that time and make something intentional and think about like fueling your body and how good it feels to do that and pushing past those feelings and getting out of your comfort zone and doing those things that you don't want to do is just going to lead you to be that much stronger and that much more confident in yourself and that much more empowered in yourself and that much closer to the woman that you want to be or the person that you want to be overall, because you're making those decisions that are putting you that much closer and becoming a better version of yourself and not giving in to those excuses that you tell yourself or those temporary feelings, because those temporary feelings don't last. But what does last is the results that you make and those habits and routines that you build for yourself that last for the rest of your life. So that's it for this week's episode of the Extreme Lifestyle Living podcast. Make sure you check out Trey's episodes every Monday, and I'll see you next Thursday.